Hi everyone, it's Don, and I hope you're happy.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, at a time when we're all on edge because of things that are out of our control, wouldn't it be nice just to relax and go to the movies? Well, too bad for us because all the cinemas are closed. But at least we still have our sports, right? Crap! All the sports are canceled too? No movies, no sports, no problem. Paul has a solution for us. So stay tuned for more tips, more tricks, more movie blogs from around the world right after this.
Hey folks, there's no movies and there are no sports. And you know what? I don't watch a lot of sports anymore. When I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of sports. I was huge into, does tennis count as a sport? Yeah, it's not manly and I'm an alpha male, but I'll count tennis as a sport. I used to be big into baseball. Don and I did fantasy baseball with the sports guys at CBC. That's the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And I was winning until the very last day. They did this dubious trade and I lost by half a point and I'm still sore about it. But my big thing was Canadian football. Yeah, Canadian football. I know Americans will say, well, most Canadians would say, why watch Canadian football? American college teams can beat professional Canadian football players. So maybe, I don't know. My dad watched it, I watched it, that was my thing. And, now that everybody's stuck in their home, everything is canceled, I can understand the void that people feel when they don't have sports to watch on television. Like, when I'm 15, 16 years old, you tell me that there are no more sports to watch, and I'm flipping. Not so much anymore, because, I'm old. Like, my favorite teams were the, Montreal Expos and the Quebec Nordiques, both of which don't exist anymore. Yeah, so I'm old. But take a look here. This is a picture of me getting ready to go see a regular season game. Just a regular season game. Look how happy I am. See the joy in my eyes. And then this is when I came back home because the game was canceled. Regular season game canceled. Do you see my eyes right now? That's called I don't like this very much. And now that March Madness is canceled for, like, ever? Or, I don't know, maybe they'll try to have April or May Madness if it all gets back online. But I can understand the fire that people must feel not being able to watch their March Madness. And I'm not a basketball guy, but I do know that they have something called brackets. And I think it looks like this. So, you know what, we're a movie channel, and people don't have sports to watch, so maybe we can combine the two, and we'll have Pixar March Madness. Now this will be just the quarterfinals, because, you go through a whole tournament, it's going to take some time. So this is the first division, okay? Take a look at this. First up, we're going to have Toy Story versus Brave, and if I look down a little bit, it's because I have all my player and team stats here. So Pixar, incredible stable of movies, but some of them are not going to make the cut. Some of them don't make the playoffs. Take a look down here. Good Dinosaur, come on. That was a big flop. Onward, it just came out this year, and because of everything that's happening, didn't make a lot of money at the movies. People are saying it just didn't feel Pixar-y. Have they lost their touch? I don't know, Don liked it. And here's the list. Monsters University, meh. Cars 2, okay, so these guys aren't going to compete. Division 1, first battle. Toy Story versus Brave. Now, Toy Story came out in 1995, Brave in 2012, much newer. And Toy Story, surprisingly, made only $364 million, and Brave made $539 million. Well, that's a big difference. I would have expected the opposite, but Brave made a lot more of the, the 2012 dollars, and Toy Story suffered for being brought out way early. Metacritic score, though. This is where Toy Story shines. Got a 95. Brave, 69. Toy Story was nominated for 3 Oscars and won a special achievement for being the first feature-length animated feature. The very first computer animated movie in the world. Brave, nominated for only Best Animation, but it won that nomination. Now, when I think of Toy Story, I can think of, multiple characters. There's Woody, there's Buzz Lightyear, Bo Peep, you got Mr. Potato Head. Now, when I think of Brave, I don't know, like it's the one with the spunky redhead, right? And I think her name is Meredith. So it just didn't stick with me. Any of the other characters, I don't know. I remember enjoying the movie, but it wasn't as iconic as Toy Story, which you pretty much remember it beat for beat since you saw it the first time. But here's the clincher. Toy Story was made on a budget of $30 million. Brave, $185 million. Okay, Toy Story is made on $30 million. You can't film a guy picking his nose for 10 minutes for less than $30 million now. So I'm gonna have to give this one to Toy Story. Next up in Division 1 is going to be Cars versus Finding Dory. Alright, so let's see what happened here. In 2016, Finding Dory made $1 billion. That's $1 billion. Cars, 2006, it made less than half of that, $461 million. Now, I know there's 10 years between them, but that's still a pretty big gap. Finding Dory was made on a budget of $200 million, and Cars was made on a budget of $120 million. Okay, so yeah, it made a lot more money, but it cost twice as much to make. So, I don't know, I call that one a tie. Finding Dory, the Metacritic score was 77, Cars, 73. So, that's a tie there too. Awards, Finding Dory did not get nominated for anything. Nothing. A Pixar movie nominated for Zip. And Cars was nominated for 2 awards. It didn't win any of those awards, but it was nominated for 2. So when I think overall, Cars, I remember that being so awesome. Had some good music. It was small town America. You had Owen Wilson bringing Lightning McQueen to life. Larry the Cable Guy, I think it's Larry the Cable Guy, brought Mater to life, and he became like the icon, like the children's icon for years after that movie. Just everything was Mater, Mater, Mater. I'd have to give this one to Cars. Alright, we're going on to Division 2, moving right along here. So we have The Incredibles versus Coco. Now, I remember not wanting to see Coco. It just seemed like, what's this? Like, just this little kid playing guitar? It doesn't appeal to me. Okay, but let's go through the stats here. The Incredibles, 2004, on a budget of $92 million, it made $261 million. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, really. Okay, let's see what Coco did. On a budget of $175 million, made $209 million. Well, those numbers don't impress me at all either. So, both pretty pitiful. I'm gonna call that a tie. For the Metacritic score, The Incredibles got 90, Coco got 81. 81's pretty respectable, but that one goes to The Incredibles, of course. The Incredibles won 1 Oscar and was nominated for 3 others. Not bad. Coco won 2 Oscars. Okay, so you have a difference there. You have more nominations and an Oscar, and you got 2 actual wins. This one's gonna be tough. I'm gonna have to say the winner here is The Incredibles. Everybody was excited for The Incredibles 2. It had, I think, more tale behind it. People talked about it longer, the merchandising was out there more. You don't see too many lunch pails with Coco on it, but you may see it with The Incredibles on it. Spawned a sequel. Coco might spawn a sequel, it's still a newer movie. I doubt it, but maybe. Just doesn't lend itself to a sequel, I don't think. So yeah, I think the winner here is going to be The Incredibles. Next up, in Division 2, is going to be Inside Out versus Toy Story 2. Alright, so Inside Out, the stats go. In 2015, on a budget of $175 million, it made $857 million. Not bad. Almost $1 billion. Toy Story 2 in 1999. on a budget of $90 million, made 487 overall. So let's see. You know, yeah, it had almost half the budget, but Toy Story only made $487 million. Toy Story 2, sorry. I'm gonna give this one to Inside Out. The Metacritic score, Inside Out got 94. Toy Story 2, 88. It's pretty close. But 94, that's close to 100. Not bad. Inside Out, nominated for 2 Oscars, one of which they won, and Toy Story 2 nominated for 1 Oscar and it didn't win anything. So, let's see, how do I calculate this? Based on stories, an all-out win for Inside Out. This is a movie that not only every kid should watch, but every adult should watch too. It goes and it puts emotions into pictures on how people feel, emotional growth and emotional maturity, how you can go from developing as a depressed child and accepting the things going on around you, and perhaps coming out as a fresh new person able to deal with the world. Toy Story 2, it had sequelitis. It was just characters that we already knew doing actions. There was nothing new to find out. They introduced, I think the bad guy's name was Zurg or Zorg or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, ultimately a forgettable story, so I'm going to easily give this one to Inside Out. We're gonna go Monsters Inc. versus Cars 3. So we have, in 2001, Monsters Inc. comes out, and on a budget of $115 million, they make $528 million worldwide. Cars 3 came out in 2017, and on a budget of $175 million, made only $384 million. That's pitiful. Monsters Metacritic score, 78. That seems awfully low to me. Monsters Inc. got only 78 Metacritic score. Cars 3, 59. Wow. Boo. Monsters was nominated for 4 Oscars, and they won one of those nominations. Awesome. Cars 3, nothing. No nominations, no Oscars. Now, Cars 3 was a triumphant return from Cars 2. Cars 2 was an abomination where they turned the cars into spies, and I think they were racing in Japan, and it was bad. Now, Cars 3 brought it back to just a regular racing story, and I really enjoyed it. Monsters Inc., though, with Mike Wazowski and Sully, that was an incredible movie. Like, if you don't enjoy Monsters Inc., you must have like an empty part in here, right where your soul should be. Okay, Monsters Inc. was incredible. I'm gonna have to give this one easily to Monsters Inc. Our second battle in Division 3 is going to be Toy Story 4 against WALL-E. Alright, so what are the stats? In 2019, Toy Story 4, on a budget of $200 million, made $1 billion. WALL-E, on the other hand, in 2008, $180 million budget, made only $521 million. Now, it was a full 11 years beforehand, and it still made over $500 million. That's pretty good. So WALL-E held its own, I guess. Toy Story 4, the Metacritic score is 84. WALL-E, 95. Okay, 95, that's the highest one we've seen yet. Toy Story 4 was nominated for 2 Oscars, of which they won one of those nominations. WALL-E was nominated for 5, and they won one of those nominations. Okay, so far, out of all the Pixar movies we talked about, they had more nominations and a higher Metacritic score than any other movie. So let's talk about Toy Story 4. It was kind of not good. Like, I understand where they were going with the story. I think it was more for adults who were a lot younger when they saw the original Toy Story. And this movie was for them, because now they have kids and they're trying to let those kids go off and do their thing in the world. It's about parents letting go. Of course, you know, that's kind of what Toy Story is. It's about Woody showing complete and utter dedication to his children and never leaving them. And at the end, he leaves them for his own pleasure, I guess, so he could be with Bo Peep and go exploring or whatever he wants. So it was kind of almost like a betrayal the way they unfolded it. And Don wasn't impressed because he had the new Forky character, while he was funny, kind of had like this layer of suicidal thoughts just because his character was trash and he always wanted to go and just trash himself. So I didn't find it to be that message, but Don was uncomfortable with it. Now let's talk about WALL-E. So they took a cast of characters that rarely spoke. They said maybe a half dozen words each in the entire movie, and brought them on this emotional roller coaster journey that had messages of environmentalism, love, loyalty, responsibility. It told us what's in store for us if we don't get off our screens and just look around and enjoy, interact with the world around us. So, you know what, this one's so easy. WALL-E for the win. Okay, we're into the final division, and the matchup here is Ratatouille versus Up. And the stats go: in 2007, Ratatouille, on a budget of $150 million, made $623 million at the box office. That's pretty good. Up, in 2009, on a budget of $175 million, made $735 million. Wow. Actually, this one looks more like a tie to me. Metacritic scores, Ratatouille had a 96. That beats WALL-E. That's the highest so far. And Up had 88. Now, that's a respectable score, but a Metacritic score of 96, that's bordering on viewer love, like perfection. Ratatouille was nominated for 5, one of which it won, and Up was nominated for 5, 2 of which it won. Wow, so Up had a lot of nominations, and it won 2 of them. I think there was one other movie that won 2 Oscars, or maybe this is the only one so far that has won 2 Oscars. So of all the matchups that we've done so far, this one seems pretty even to me. Now, if I remember watching Ratatouille, it's not one of those movies that floored me, but I really liked it. And it was just a simple movie about a rat who lived out his dream in the kitchen. And, you know, Pixar likes to take these like opposing things and mix them up. So rats in a restaurant, you never want to see them together, but this movie, the protagonist is a rat and he loves cooking, so they put them together and then you have cinematic excellence. I really did enjoy that movie. Up, what do I remember about Up? It was a long time ago that I've seen it. I remember being emotionally floored at the beginning when they showed I don't even know the main character's name, when they showed him growing up and then losing his wife. That was a tearjerker for me, but the rest of the movie was kind of slow. It was good, but slower, and the action from midpoint on seemed a little bit, I don't know, generic adventure. So I might take some heat for this, but I'm gonna go with Ratatouille for the win. And our last battle, Division 4 quarterfinals. This one is going to be a juggernaut of a battle. We have Toy Story 3 versus Finding Nemo. Now, Toy Story 3 has an uphill battle because it is the 3rd movie in the series, so it might have a little bit of sequelitis to deal with against a fresh new movie like Finding Nemo. So let's see what happens. Stats. In 2010, on a budget of $200 million, Toy Story 3 made $1 billion. Okay, that's awesome. But listen to this. Finding Nemo in 2003, on a budget of half that, at $94 million, made $871 million. So it made almost $1 billion 7 years earlier on half the budget. Gotta give that one to Finding Nemo. Toy Story 3 Metacritic score, 92. Finding Nemo, 90. Okay, even, it's a tie. Toy Story 3 was nominated for 5 awards, but it won 2 of them. Okay, awesome. Finding Nemo, nominated for 4. It won 1 of them. So both of them raked in the awards, but Toy Story 3 edged it out there. So let's think about it. Toy Story 3, I remember everybody loved this movie. Like, people still talk about it as their favorite Toy Story movie. You had the ending part, I think, is what everybody liked, with the toys on the side of the garbage mountain, and they're going into the big inferno, and they're all heading for certain death, and oh, it's very, very sad. It didn't grab me. Like, I didn't enjoy the whole daycare scenario with the mob boss bear. It was okay. Like, it was okay to watch and enjoy, but it didn't grab me like, wow, that's the best Pixar movie ever. Now, Finding Nemo. Geez, what can you say about Finding Nemo? A kid loses his mom and then goes off on an adventure. Dad loses his kid. Like, I was in Walmart when my boy was just a toddler. I was in Walmart and I went around the next aisle a little sooner than he did, and I looked back and he wasn't there. Okay, do you know the feeling of looking back for your kid and he's not there? Okay, well, this movie is explaining that feeling. And you have him going, I have Nemo going on this adventure, you know, exploring the big wide world out there, his eyes, you know, seeing things for the first time. Wow, it's so huge, because he was cloistered by his dad for protection. And the dad going out of his mind, trying to find him, meeting Dory. Dory was funny. Ellen was fantastic as Dory. So, I don't know. This is a mammoth battle, but I'm gonna have to give this one to Finding Nemo. So there you have it. That's the quarterfinals of Pixar March Madness. I don't know if you've agreed with a lot of the outcomes here, but hey, just like in sports, you don't know how the game is gonna go. Maybe this is the favorite team, and in that game, they just don't play very well. Unfortunately, I'm the ref for the video, and I guess my calls may influence the victory. So tell me if you think the victories are what you would have imagined, or whether you think there was an upset or two in there. Also, thank you for Swimming with the Fishes for our intro idea. That was fantastic. Sorry, that was fantastic. And stay tuned for an upcoming video where we go through the semifinals and the finals for Pixar March Madness, and for that we'll have Mark and Don with us. All right, thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.